What's up, guys? Frugal BC, Algorand surging in price. Great news for people who are Algorand holders, and we've got a lot of news today to talk about, including a big screw up on Folks Finance. It has since been fixed, but we're going to talk about that with Folks Finance point system. Also, does Elon Musk's brother love Algorand, and is that going to play a factor coming forward in the new Trump administration? We're going to look at that news. Also, Messari's third quarter report on Algorand is out, and things are looking very good in that direction, so we will talk about that. Plus, it's really looking like a new airline is imminent on Travel X. We'll dig into that news. And then we're going to go through this whole Folks Finance fiasco, bringing some broader issues, too, about projects that start on Algorand but then build out to other ecosystems. So we're going to dive into all that today on Frugal BC. Before we do that, guys, if you like this kind of stuff, if you liked our content, hit that like button and so we can share this to more people, and subscribe to the channel so you can get all our news and our crypto experiments. As always, you don't have to smash it. You can just press it gently. Works just fine that way too. And we are brought to you by non-fungible domains. If you want that .algo address like I have, which is really useful, I use it all the time. Mine's frugalbc.algo, and you can get that plus vaults and segments. They got all kinds of features. Check out non-fungible domains in the description below. But let's get to today's show. This first one is actually a bit of old news, but I think it's really interesting. I hadn't seen it when it came out, and it's more relevant now that Musk has some sort of role in the Trump administration with the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Let's take a look at this here. Musk family is bullish on Algorand, invests in decentralized music platform Dequency. Tosca and Kimball Musk invested in Dequency, a decentralized licensing platform powered by Algorand. The smart contract platform has powered several decentralized projects, including offering lower transaction costs compared to Ethereum. Boy, that continues to be true. Now, like I said, this is 2 years ago. Proponents believe the launch of new smart contract projects and NFTs on Algorand is a catalyst for algo price. Well, that didn't really play out, but yeah. So this was back in February 2022, and someone brought this to my attention. I know it's kind of old news, but it's also kind of a big deal because, obviously Musk is going to have a role in the new Trump administration, and he's pretty heavily involved in that. So I don't know, this might not be really anything, but I thought this was really interesting anyway. It means that Elon is probably pretty aware of Algorand. But that's just a short little thing. Let's get to our next one here. And that is what looks like a very positive Q3 for Algorand, according to the Messari crypto report. Let's dive in a little bit. And I think we can go through this more. We can go through this a little more in our live stream coming up, but let's look at this. Some things that they put here. Q3 Messari crypto report just dropped. Key insights: new addresses on Algorand grew by 63% quarter-over-quarter. Now, a lot of that had to do with Coinbase learning rewards program, which they put here. It's called Coinbase Quest, actually, so they actually didn't get the name right here, but that's basically what it is, so it's fine. Going from 0.8 million, so 800,000, to 1.3 million, so that's good. That's really good. Algorand's DeFi TVL increased 12% quarter-over-quarter, and we saw a rise in price, so that I don't know if we saw a 12% rise in price, but a big part of that definitely came from price action. So that's one thing I don't like about TVL, actually. I wish there was a better metric for measuring it, because it doesn't always tell the whole picture. When the price rises, that just changes the TVL. But that doesn't mean, it does mean more total value is locked, but it doesn't give you any useful information. It's not like more people put more stuff in when it just changes because of price, if that makes sense. And the stablecoin market cap on Algorand grew by 34% quarter-over-quarter. We covered that, by the way, driven by a 66% increase in USDC, which now holds 97% of Algorand's stablecoin market. Yeah, and I believe, wasn't Tether discontinued on Algorand? I know I got out of it really quick once I learned that. But the USDC thing was interesting because a whole bunch got added and then it got taken out, and I think it actually got added back in again. A really interesting stuff, because I don't know if anyone's really gotten to the bottom of what happened to that USDC, but yeah, pretty positive report. We might dive into it a little deeper on Friday's live stream, so keep an eye out for that. But next, I think this news is really great. This is, we've talked about Travel X. I think this is one of the better projects being handled on Algorand. And it's one of those things that like kind of quietly happens in the background. Like you might not see it a lot except for people like me or like Eldar talking about it. So he's doing that now. Let's take a look. Yep. So this is from Eldar. He's a great follow on Twitter, by the way, or X, whatever you want to call it. I expect to see a new airline or airlines announcement using TravelX imminently. Significant increase in transaction volumes support my expectations. Yes, you are reading that correctly. 22.4 million transactions in the last 30 days. That's huge. DAP impact 17%. Yeah, this is a good sign. I think this means there's a good chance this means we're getting a new airline. So that's really exciting stuff. Like I said, I think this is one of the most exciting projects in crypto. Now, someone had argued with me in the chat saying that they didn't think the rules allowed for that. I believe they actually changed the rules so that you can sell tickets third party. And I was like, well, you know, my argument was they're doing this now. They haven't been shut down. No one's filed any notice. If it is illegal, then no one seems to care. So we'll see if that's the case. You know, we'll find out, right? Okay, so yeah, now this one's going to be a longer one. I wanted to get into the Folks Finance releasing its points system, some of the backlash that came because of the way they handled it, and then the fix. So let's talk about this. Okay, so this was the initial post that said, you will begin earning points on current and future activities starting today, November 15th. If you've been an Algorand folks in the past, retroactive points will show up in your account at a later date. So they did have this points. There's more about it in the post, but basically these points are kind of like their answer to Tiny's Tiny token, I believe. So Folks Finance has an ongoing points campaign to complement the X-Chain. The point system has now been expanded toward Folks Algorand users as well. Algorand users will be able to retroactively rewarded with additional points to accurately reflect their historical usage of Folks. So this is what happened with Tiny as well. If you were using Tiny Man platform, which I used a lot, you got a certain amount of Tiny airdrop to you that you had to go claim. So they fixed this now, but the big thing was, well, I can't seem to find the original post now for some reason. But my links got all screwed up. But what happened, essentially, you had to log in with an EVM wallet to see your points on the Algorand version of the dApp. So for those that don't know, Folks Finance launched on Algorand and was an Algorand dApp. Then they went the X-Chain route. So they're available on EVM through connected through Chainlink. And so they're operating on a multi-chain platform, but the two are kind of separate because Algorand isn't linked with Chainlink right now. So what happened was, to see your points, you would have had to download an EVM wallet, and people were not happy about that. What happened? They actually fixed it. Ibu, who is he's the CMO of Folks Finance, says you can go straight onto Folks Algorand, connect wallet, and see points. No need to touch EVM to see what you have. Hope this works for you guys. And I think this is really important because they did a lot of work to get this done. So Benedetto, who is the CEO of Folks Finance, said, fixed, Algorand fam asked, and we delivered at light speed. Our devs worked overtime on their weekend. Hopefully this clarifies most of the people who thought we were not considering the importance of it. Yeah, I think they did. I'm glad they made the fix. Eldar said, thanks, Benedetto, for listening. Ban consent should have been that from the start. I kind of agree with that. Or at least put out there, hey, we got this way right now, but we're working on it. I think a lot of these problems that I see with crypto these days come down to communication or lack thereof. And I hope everyone learns from this. I hope people learn that you have to communicate. I understand Cometa is back up. It was just a website issue. I think I covered that last week. We talked about that on the live stream. The Cometa was down and it's actually up now, but they never communicated that they were doing website maintenance. You got to communicate. You can't not communicate in crypto. This is my hill to die on. Okay, I'm gonna keep pushing this until crypto gets it through their head that you guys gotta communicate. It's the cornerstone, because there's so many rugs. Anytime something goes wrong, people first go to rug, and they do that because that's happened over and over again. So the first time a website doesn't work, your thought is, uh-oh, it's gone. It might not be. A lot of times it's not, but we don't know that if you don't communicate. So you gotta communicate. But as Benedetto says, everyone can do mistakes, sir. We are not human. We are human, not machines. Important to learn from it. Plus, I believe the rapidity of the fix speaks for itself. Yeah, I think they fixed it. I think that's great. Folks has been pretty solid overall. And, you know, I kind of go back to like when Non-Fungible Domains, who full disclosure is a sponsor of the show, as you know from watching the beginning, when they said they were switching to a subscription fee instead of the one-time fee. I think it makes more sense from a business standpoint to go the subscription route. But people bought it on the premise that it was going to be a one-time fee, and I don't think I think it was, even though I thought their plan was fairly reasonable. I thought that was an error. They fixed the error, so anyone who had previously bought their address was grandfathered in to the old system. I think that was the right thing to do. I think Folks Finance did the right thing, and shout out to the devs who worked overtime on the weekend to get it done. Good for you guys. You look forward to the weekend, then you got to work. That's no fun. I mean, I work every weekend because I'm trying to build something here, but I get it. So good for them. I think that's great. But this also brings up a broader part of the ecosystem that I think is worth talking about. And that's like, what does it mean to go multi-chain? So I want to focus on this next post. And this is from Mars, who does the Mental Marvin series NFTs. And I believe there's some comic books involved. I actually have one. And I think the most important part is right here. Algorand has been an incredible launchpad for countless projects. Its technical prowess has earned admiration, enabling teams to build quickly and cost effectively. When a project is strong, it attracts users. When users find value and love what's offered, they champion it with unmatched loyalty. Folks enjoys this goodwill within the Algorand community. But let's face it, our community isn't vast. We're constantly striving to grow. There's only so much we can control: external factors, market forces, etc. We understand that. We know relying solely on Algorand's current user base may not suffice to sustain the revenue or growth ambitions of projects. We're not against projects seeking opportunities on other chains. I think that's true. Most of us accept that it's a necessary move in some cases. The understanding is simple. As long as Algorand side, this is really key. As long as the Algorand side continues to thrive and grow, branching out is acceptable. I 100% agree with that. I would say, like, don't neglect the Algorand side, which is kind of what he's saying. We saw this with other projects where they moved multi-chain and then Algorand kind of became an afterthought or wasn't going to be continued to be developed on. I think that's really bad. I don't like to see that. He says that's not what usually happens. Time and time again, the Algorand community is leveraged to jumpstart the project's success on another chain. Incentives are cleverly designed, staking rewards benefits to nudge algo supporters to engage, populate, spend on new chains. This effort often provides a much-needed boost, drawing in some initial traction. While that should be a celebrated moment, it rarely plays out as hoped. Yeah, I actually don't think that's celebrated. Actually, I think it should be additive, not trying to bring algo people to the other part, but it should be bringing other people from those chains in. So instead, the story takes familiar disheartening turn. The new chain doesn't deliver the anticipated momentum. Non-Algorand users don't materialize in droves. The project stagnates, and then like clockwork, the blame shifts back to the Algorand community. We are gaslit, accused of being too small, too limited. The project eventually pivots entirely, abandoning Algorand altogether. One thing I'll say that he doesn't include is the marketing often is really, really poor. A lot of times you just don't get good marketing from these companies. I'm actually surprised more of these Algorand companies don't reach out to me to advertise or to try to be a sponsor. I get like all these like stuff from outside the Algorand space, but I rarely get any from the space. Here's hoping with the bull market and starting to be in full effect. We've got Algorand at 22 cents. I'm super happy about that. I think it's 21 as I record this. It was 22 early this morning. So I'm hoping that changes the situation, but lots of great Algorand news today. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you're doing well out there. As always, stay safe, and I will see you in the future.